So in this video, we are going to cover for the fearful avoidant attachment style, how to recognize and overcome self-sabotaging behavioral patterns. Also, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content here, and stick around to the end where you're going to hear one of the most important components of overcoming self-sabotage. So I want to start by just explaining what self-sabotage actually is, because I think that just understanding this is a huge breakthrough for everybody, irrespective of your attachment style. When you self-sabotage, there's actually no such thing. Now, let me explain. What our experience of self-sabotage is that our conscious mind says, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week. I'm going to quit eating chocolate. I'm going to regulate or manage my anger in relationships. I am going to make sure that don't jump to conclusions. Whatever you're coming from in terms of your conscious mind's perspective, you have to remember that your conscious mind is responsible for roughly 3 to 5% of your belief patterns, your thought patterns, your emotions, and your actions. Your subconscious and unconscious collectively are responsible for 95 to 97%. So when we have self-sabotage, okay, let's say you set a New Year's resolution to quit eating chocolate, and day 4, you sabotage. It's not actually that you're like consciously sabotaging. It's not that you're going, I can't wait to sabotage my New Year's resolution on day 4. That's not what's happening. What is happening is that your conscious mind sets a goal. Your subconscious, who's really running the show, says, oh, yeah, that's nice, but we have different plans. And essentially, your subconscious mind has other needs it's trying to meet or other pain it's trying to avoid. And so you don't follow through on your goal, or you sabotage the intention that you had. But really what it is it's your conscious and subconscious working against each other, and your subconscious just winning. And you can really extrapolate that out to many things, right? Think of addiction. Addiction so largely has so much to do with your conscious mind saying, I'm going to quit, I'm going to stop, or I know better, this isn't good for me. And your subconscious saying, and we like what we're doing over here with the addiction because we numb pain, or we lower our inhibitions and we feel more confident, or whatever it is. The addiction, based on your set point without it, is serving on some level according to your subconscious mind. Now, that's a topic for another conversation. And that can include all types of addictions, right? Like habits and behavioral addictions, things like binge eating food addiction, alcohol, drugs, all sorts of things, gambling. I mean, it's your conscious and subconscious being at war. Your conscious might objectively know this doesn't make sense. This isn't a healthy behavior. And yet your subconscious says, yeah, but this meets these needs over here for us. So when we are a fearful avoidant attachment, and we're trying to recognize and overcome self sabotaging behaviors, one of the first things you have to recognize is it's not a self sabotaging behavior according to your subconscious mind. In fact, the behavior itself, according to your subconscious mind, is actually meeting very specific needs. So I'll give you an example here. Okay. Let's just say, as a fearful avoidant attachment style, maybe one of the behavioral coping mechanisms you have in a relationship is you struggle to regulate anger. Okay. So maybe you express anger in an unhealthy way. You raise your voice, you yell, or maybe you're too harsh with your words. Okay. Fairly common for a fearful avoidant attachment style. Now, your conscious mind may set the goal or the intention and say, I want to be better with anger. I don't want to raise my voice ever again. I'm going to commit to it. I'm not going to raise my voice in a relationship. And then 2 weeks goes by and suddenly you're in an argument, and in the heat of the moment, you can't control it. It just happened. Well, that's the place of your subconscious mind needing reconditioning. Because if you look really closely, and I have yet to see an exception to this rule, what does the unhealthy expression of anger do? So when you raise your voice, okay, what happens? Well, it's a subconscious strategy to get seen and heard. Number 1 and 2. Okay. Think of it. You raise your voice, you get louder so you can be heard better from your subconscious mind's perspective. You wave your hands so you can be seen, so the person's paying attention, right? Seen, heard. Sometimes you finally say all the things that you were holding in about what you were feeling. So you get understood, and generally at the time, you feel powerless. A lot of people who struggle with anger issues actually also, believe it or not, really struggle with boundary issues. And so they feel powerless because they're constantly giving their power away because they don't have boundaries. So they feel powerless and boundaryless. And so the unhealthy expression of anger to your subconscious mind, right? So follow this. So your conscious mind says, no, 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 never again. We're not going to raise our voice. Your subconscious mind says, hello, we're in this situation. We feel unseen, unheard, misunderstood, and we feel powerless and we feel like we're without boundaries. So the unhealthy expression of anger in one fell swoop meets all of those needs. Gets you seen, gets you heard, takes your power back, right? Helps you get understood because you finally say what was you were holding in for so long. And anger is a subconscious strategy to set a boundary, the unhealthy expression of it, at least, not the emotion itself. And I want to be clear about one thing too, just so you don't get confused. The emotion itself is not unhealthy, right? Anger is not unhealthy. It's how we use anger that differentiates between something healthy or not healthy. So if I use anger and I witness it and I notice it there and I go, wow, I'm feeling really angry. Okay, why am I angry? What do I need to feel relief? Oh, I really need to set a boundary and clearly ask for this person's attention and presence and ask them to like see me and hear me and try to understand me and also respect my boundary. And I communicate in a really articulate way. I use my anger for something really good, right? Anger is just the feedback. It's like the messenger, right? Um, but the unhealthy expression of anger is what we're referring to in this video. So the unhealthy expression of anger being like you yell or you break something or whatever it could be, right? So the difference here is your conscious mind can intend all the time. And the reason this is so important for fearful avoidance is because I can't tell you how many fearful avoidants I worked with over the years who would say, Thais, I'm really trying to stop XYZ pattern in my relationship. And yet I struggle. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. And then we would unpack it. And it turned out that behavior was actually meeting a series of needs at the subconscious level that were not being met otherwise. And so the conscious mind intends to stop. The subconscious says, no, we have really important needs here. And your subconscious mind is a needs meeting machine, it is designed to meet your needs. So as you start to understand this dynamic, now you're empowered to break through it. Now, I will let you know, I have a whole course just about this, overcoming self-sabotage. It just targets this all day long, including procrastination, all kinds of different dynamics. But I'm going to give you a few steps in this video here specifically. And if you want to check out that course for free for 7 days using the link below, you can go for it. It's right down there for you. And it literally, you can jump in there if you cancel before the 7th day. You never we're charged anything. It's absolutely free. So go check it out if you are interested. It also gives you access to check out all the courses inside PDS and jump on webinars with me. So what you'll see here is there's a few steps, right? You want to break through a self-sabotage behavior. You have to first identify what needs are being met by the behavior itself when you engage in it. Okay. So like, let's look at some other examples like stonewalling. Maybe you stonewall, with stonewalling, for example, what's happening is you're shutting down usually for protection, self-preservation, to avoid conflict, right? Or to go into a space where you feel safe. Or because sometimes you don't know what you want to say and you're afraid of saying the wrong thing. And so you do it for those reasons. So there's needs that are actually being met there, right? I'll give you another example. If you are spiteful, this is a really interesting one for a lot of fearful avoidance because fearful avoidance can, and very heated peak moments of arguments, be spiteful. Well, what I found after working with so many people and unpacking this is that spitefulness is actually subconscious strategy to gain empathy from somebody when there's no other resort. It's like, if I can't get you to see my perspective and feel where I'm coming from, then I'm going to make you feel what I feel. And then we're emotionally connected because you're feeling what I'm feeling and now you get it. And so now you're empathizing with me, right? Like if it, hopefully that makes sense, right? So if let's say Bob is really mad and he feels really unseen, so then he gets spiteful and he shuts down. He says, I'm not even going to listen to what you have to say to the person he's in an argument with. And he doesn't see that person. He's trying to make that person feel unseen. So that person knows what he's feeling, is feeling what he's feeling. And now they're emotionally engaged on the same wavelength. And it's this indirect strategy to gain empathy. If you actually unpack any unhealthy patterns of behavior, you'll see that according to your subconscious mind, they're actually meeting really important needs. So this brings us to step 2 here, right? Which is this tells you that your mind is not getting these needs met in healthy forms. Okay. It's telling you that for you to have to use an unhealthy form like yelling, raising your voice, being spiteful, that you actually don't have. If you imagine your needs are like buckets, they're not being filled proactively. So you fill them reactively. Anytime you get your needs met reactively, there are greater downsides. So then what you have to do in step 2 is come up with upgraded strategies to get your needs met. So like if you need to be seen, heard, and understood, right? If we go back to that idea of unhealthy expression of anger, well, if I need to be seen, heard, and understood, then I need to start communicating, hey, I really need you to be present with me. Um, maybe saying to somebody, can we set aside some time to just talk? I really need you to understand where I'm coming from and my perspective. It's not about being right or wrong. I just need you to see that why I would feel the way I feel in this situation. So I'm asking for presence, to be seen, to be understood. I'm asking for empathy. So we can tweak our communication or behaviors to get these needs met in much better ways. And if those buckets are filled proactively, if we've got good strategies to get these needs met proactively, we don't have to get them met reactively, and we can work through these coping mechanisms. Now, there's another part to this that you can do to overcome self sabotage too. You can also look at all the costs of your old coping mechanism and all the benefits of your new coping mechanism, because what you're doing is rewiring your stored emotional associations. Essentially, what I mean by this, and I don't want to pack too much content into this one video and be overwhelming. So, trying to be mindful of that. But for our subconscious to be engaging in something for a long enough time, like the unhealthy expression of anger, you actually have more positive emotional associations wired to it. And the reason you know this is because you keep repeating the behavior. So your subconscious mind sees more good than harm in the behavior, even though consciously you can evaluate and say, no, 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 more harm than good. So you have to rebalance those associations. Usually we develop these coping mechanisms when we literally had no other way of getting needs met. So when we did finally get them met, it actually gave us some form of like relief or reward. And so we wired in these positive emotional feelings next to this coping mechanism. One way you'll know if this is you with anger is if sometimes, let's say you've ever had the experience of wanting to express anger and you feel really mad. And then it turns out that you find out that whatever you were mad about was just totally wrong and you just made a mistake and misunderstood something. And then you still feel like you need to be angry. You're like, oh, I was going to get angry at the person. Now I can't get angry. It's because your subconscious mind like actually has these needs it's trying to meet through anger. So again, it's telling you if you are using these things, you have to unpack what those needs are based on what your self-sabotage behavior is, come up with upgraded strategies to get these needs met, and then look at the cost of the old way, the cost of yelling, the benefits of communicating proactively, asking for empathy, guiding somebody to see your perspective, asking for their presence in a healthy form. And what are all the benefits of that and the downsides of this? And you're actually leveraging one form of repetition and emotion to recondition these different dynamics that are there. So, after conducting many polls and surveys at the Personal Development School over the past few years, we have found that students come in and 92% of them become dominantly securely attached within 90 days if they focus on 6 crucial areas. These 6 crucial areas have to do with what it takes to become secure according to Gibson integrated attachment theory. And this is to tackle core wounds, learn your needs, learn to emotionally regulate, develop boundaries, communicate better, and update old behavioral coping mechanisms. Now, we have these roadmaps and course tracks laid out for you on the other side of when you join. So everything is simple and in front of you to help you take exactly the steps that you need to master your love life, create thriving relationships, and really see the results in your healing journey so you can let go of old wounds, old baggage, and truly leave it behind. And on top of that, included in this 30% off promotion for life, you also gain access to our daily live events, webinars. I'll be there 3 days a week to answer any questions that you have in your journey. And we have amazing certified integrated attachment theory experts who are there to support you with their daily live events and webinars Monday through Saturday. And this is a great opportunity to connect with like-minded people, to get your questions answered, and receive any extra bonus support that you need. And last but not least, we even have social events on a daily basis. So you can practice through a sharing circle, being a little bit more vulnerable, connecting with other like-minded people. You can practice through communication scripts, having tough conversations, and really modeling that out. And there are so many other supportive events that are there for you on your journey. So I would love for you to join and take this opportunity. I would love for you to be a part of this challenge to become securely attached within that 90-day period. And I can't wait to see you on the other side. So this is a very like scratching the surface version of this. Obviously, as I say all the time, like PDS courses are just 100 times more intense and in depth and give you all the framework and the modules and everything's laid out there for you. And so, I would definitely recommend jump in there. If this is a topic that speaks to you, work through your coping mechanisms and behaviors. There's a whole framework for how to do so. But hopefully, really understanding these first few steps can be really valuable for overcoming this painful dynamic. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. And I will see you in the next one.